Right. Welcome, everybody, to this Ramblecast. I'd like to travel by air. Howling Fjord, you mean? I need to go to the Howling Fjord.
Oh,
Right?
that side, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm on the other side, okay. Howling Fjord, and then I'll take a boat.
A
Right?
boot.
A boot, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so welcome to the Rambling series. I'm taking flight paths while we talk about games and stuff. And with me today we've got, he will hopefully be a regular co-host, Slabwrangle. Slabwrangle, for those people who don't know you and your online things that you do online, please introduce them. Please introduce yourself, but before you do, he doesn't have a webcam, people, just so excuse that. Cool. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Slabwrangle, yeah. I'm into games, I'm into movies, I'm into geeky stuff. I like electronics, and I play a lot of Minecraft. I think that's about it.
I never actually thought that you play a lot of Minecraft. I mean, we've got 2 series under our belt, technically.
Yeah, well, if you count all of the series together, it's nearly 4. But we don't talk about the first 2.
We don't talk about the first 2. That's really sad. Yeah, you guys know me by now. I am a YouTuber and a Twitch streamer. Not as popular as I want to be, but getting there. And I'm not seeking popularity or fame. I'm doing it for the fun. And that's why I'm doing this Ramblecast thing. I don't know what to call this. I still need to work on the naming conventions. But this is generally going to be like a talk show with, as you can see, WoW playing somewhere in the background of the screen. This will be uploaded to YouTube, which I'll have to do after this or later. And yeah, that is the short intro of it. Just geeks getting together and talk. We will have other guests online. We will talk about Korean geeky stuff, South African geeky stuff, South African issues, just to let the world know about the South African side of things and how we think.
Freedom of speech, bitch.
Freedom of speech, yes. While we're...
If they envisioned there would be a thing like this when they invented freedom of speech. And if they did, would they have reconsidered?
Here's the thing. I'm actually doing research into this. I don't know everything yet. But you know about the new Freedom of Speech Act thing that they're trying to implement in South Africa?
Yeah. A type of secrecy bill, if you would want to call it that.
Yes.
That's bullshit.
I think so too.
Bullshit.
I think so.
The thing is, you cannot censor the media. The job of the media is to keep an eye on the ones in charge, is to watch the watchers, essentially.
Yeah.
Censorship be damned. Freedom of speech, hooray.
So I'm doing research into that because that'll give me a lot of things to talk about on Jan Afrika and all those. I'll probably make a pretty long Jan Afrika video about it. The music is too loud. Damn it! That's as loud as I'm going to put it. But the thing that I want to talk to you about, there's a game called H1Z1, right? It's a zombie survival game, blah blah blah. And they recently, that's the thing I wanted to talk to you in the recording of Minecraft. They recently, like the owner of the company, Daybreak Entertainment, John Smedley, I think his name is, he came online and said, listen, send us your apology videos for being cheaters. Send us a video where you apologize for cheating, and we will consider unbanning you. Right?
Okay.
Those guys were flooded with videos. It's a real sad thing to see. I spent like half an hour today watching some of those videos. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy as hell. And at the end of the day, there was like 28,000 cheaters that they banned. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they unbanned 5. What's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on this public shaming thing? I've got something to add about the videos, but I want to hear what you think of it first. And I want you to tell me, because you haven't seen this, what do you think the people would have said in these videos? What's the one thing you think the people would have said in these videos?
Okay, so let me get this straight, right? Their accounts got banned for cheating.
Mm.
So they had to issue a public apology.
On
and
YouTube.
Then they would then be considered whether or not they were allowed to get their accounts back.
Yeah.
Interesting, number one. Cheating in most games is part of the end user license agreement. So if you want to get technical and lawful about the whole thing, is if you cheat in a game, that is actually a breach of contract, and they are fully within their rights to ban you. It's breach of contract essentially, right?
Okay.
So, whatever. You cheat in a game, you get caught, you suck for cheating in the first place. That's my opinion. Number two, to push it to this whole public shaming thing, it's a bit of a mixed view there. Number one, yeah, it could turn something serious into a bit of fun and games, and that could then, create a better community. But the idea of public shaming is actually a very, very dark, slippery slope that should be avoided where at all possible.
It's very dark, should be avoided, yes, at all possible, yeah.
Because it creates segregation and singling out a specific group of people. Okay, granted, a cheater or cheaters can't really say is a group of people, but it shouldn't really ever be condoned, because that's how you get fascism. Is as soon as you start singling out a certain group of people and you start blaming them for the world's problems,
Yeah.
you very, very quickly go back to the days of World War II, if you're following me.
Yeah, okay. I do, yeah.
That is my view on public shaming. As for in this specific content, I don't think it's going to do any harm. I don't think it's I think it's a bit of harmless fun on the part of the publishers and the developers. I mean, it's a case of, well, look, you breached contract, we banned you, but you know what? Let's put a lighter spin on all of this and see if you can creatively get your account back. I don't know. It's a bit of a, I don't know. Don't really know what to think of it at this stage.
Now, I've seen a couple of other videos where people talk about this, and one of the cooler guys, like Co-Carnage, this guy basically took on the role of the parent, like the owner of Daybreak, or the CEO of Daybreak, John Smedley.
Yeah.
He basically went to them and said, "No, you do not do this, no." He treated them like children, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting, if someone puts it like that. To have a guy from a game company, the owner or the CEO of a game company, go and say, "Okay, you're a child now, you shouldn't do this," right? That's amazing. I think that's pretty damn amazing.
Yeah.
And
It's yeah.
And what is the one thing you think these people said? Like, what's the one thing you think the cheaters said in these videos? The guys apologizing. Don't think I was going to get caught, yeah.
Or I didn't think I was doing anything harm.
If it was only that.
Or was it a case of, screw you guys, I bought the game, I can do what I like?
No. No. No, no, no.
What was it?
You won't believe me, man. You won't believe me. Other
Uh-huh.
people were cheating and they were killing me, so I was dying too much, so I thought I was gonna cheat too, to get on an even playing
Uh,
field.
uh,
This was
so
like the
what's
general
the
gist of the
self-defense?
things that I got from the videos. Like, they cheated, screw this, I'm gonna cheat to be able to kill them too. I'm like,
Isn't that what Neil Armstrong said when he got caught using uh, performance enhancements?
that I can't confirm. You should confirm that for me, but,
I'm
wow.
sure I heard that. I'm sure I heard that very, very same defense from him on the news. There was like a short segment where apparently that was his defense.
What?
Yeah.
What? That was his defense. They cheated, so I wanted to cheat too, to be on an
Yeah,
even playing
the
field.
case, basically, it came down to everybody does it, so it's not really cheating.
Damn, son. Wow. Wow.
And yeah, not enough that you're going down. You have to take professional cycling down with you.
Yeah. Wait, I've got a teleport Stormwind. Why did I fly now? I got a teleport Stormwind. Can you believe it? The other geeky stuff that I wanted to talk to you about is we touched on it lightly on in our games, and that is the thing of games inspiring you to do great deeds, i.e., or go into certain areas of expertise. Like in your case, the whole Half-Life 2 getting you into
Become engineer, yeah.
becoming an engineer, yes.
I was inspired by Gordon Freeman to become an engineer. Yeah, it exists. That's. I mean, and it's not isolated. I think games have a large influence on the way a person thinks. They have a large influence on your outlook on life, and it's positive, right? Not negative.
Yeah.
A lot of these people that will say that games are bad, they rot your brain and all of that. It's the very opposite. Um, Gaming liberates your mind. It opens your thoughts to new possibilities and new ideas. And very often it inspires you to many things. I must say, my specific case, ever since I've been playing modded Minecraft
Yeah.
with the with the mods and the automation and stuff, I must say that it gives me more options in my working life. It allows me to look at things in a more open-ended affair. You know, it's no longer a case of you can only do it like this, and this.
Yeah.
All the time spent trying to solve an automation problem in Minecraft has sort of wired your brain to start thinking in other ways. You know, how to solve things in the real life using a similar approach. You know, and I must say I've come up with some interesting real-life applications that were inspired by the various tech mods in Minecraft.
Really?
Yeah, don't expect me to be building a AE system in real life or anything like that.
Yeah.
What I mean is, at its core, Minecraft automation, modded Minecraft automation, the tech side of it, is at its core control systems, right? You've got a function. This function does this. You want this function to do this when that happens. So therefore you have another function, and it's a case of linking all these functions together in order for it to happen automatically, right?
Yeah.
That same way of automation thinking parlays over into the real world applications really, really, really well.
Okay.
Like, for example, I'm busy working on a thing moment, design that is going to incorporate electronics, pneumatics, and hydraulics. Just because of that link thinking, that network thinking, that automation thinking that I learned from Minecraft. So yes, games have an inspiring effect on people-based creativity.
Okay. Yeah, that's a my thing about the whole creativity thing is I haven't. Let me just zoom into this one thing again. I wish you could see the stream. I haven't applied it to that way of thinking, like the whole building stuff. But the one positive effect that games have had on my life, especially lately since I've started Twitch streaming, is I've been more productive in other areas of my life. I've literally, I'm enjoying it so much that I'm sitting there when I'm at school while I'm working. I am literally working on lesson plans and trying to figure out how much, trying to sort out most of my weeks in advance so that I don't have to worry about lesson plans when I'm at home.
Yes.
I've become more productive thanks to gaming. I mean, where in your life would you hear someone say that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
where would you, what other, okay, I wouldn't say what other hobby, but you would never hear someone say that about gaming.
No, you generally wouldn't, because games have had such a negative rap for such a long period of time. It's only now, really, that people are figuring out these things are actually good for people.
I mean,
I heard some European schools
yeah,
have started using Minecraft as a teaching tool.
yeah, yeah, like the
Um,
whole sciencey bit and everything, yes, yes.
yes, and also, if you look at the things that are coming out today, technology-wise,
Mm.
everything is aimed at productivity. I mean, if you take a look at smartphones, tablets, the computers we have today, the networking of these devices, Wi-Fi, short-range radio communication like Bluetooth and NFC, and all of these things are inspired largely by the effects that that generation that invented them got from gaming. You know,
Mm.
um, just that simple. We as a people. They did a study the other days. Okay, sure, our attention span has suffered quite significantly
Yes.
over the last while, but at the same time, our multitasking abilities have been nominally accelerated.
Yeah. Um, what? It was the Minecraft thing? Oh, what I wanted to say is there was an application where you get to build structures in 3D space, but you had to, reimagine a certain structure in a 3D space. And I think through that, I can't remember that game's name, but I think through that game they they what do you call it? They cured a certain form of cancer or
Yes,
something. They found a cure
somebody.
for not a cure, but a possible cure for HIV. I think. Sorry, it's
Yes,
within a week or 2 weeks of doing this, people just trying different molecules, build molecules. They were building molecules. That's the word. They were building molecules and everything. So just for 2 weeks, they figured out almost all of the combinations, everyone playing, to sort out the medicinal purposes of something.
Yeah, no, I've heard that as well. Um, all because of the technology around, essentially 3D modeling,
Yeah.
graphical applications from games in real world situations. The ability of, look, the physics engines have
Mm.
been around for quite some time now. First games that started really incorporating physics. I think the most famous would be Doom 3, which takes us back how many years now? About 8,
First
maybe
gaming,
9.
what physics are you talking about specifically? Because
Realistic game physics. You shoot a crate, and it calculates the energy in, angle of trajectory, and the box will fall based on its weight in a certain location.
oh no,
Realistic physics.
that might actually be Half-Life 2, by the way.
Half-Life 2 added, yes, but I think Doom came out before Half-Life 2, didn't it?
Doom
But
never
yeah,
had the well, as close to realistic as possible. Yes, definitely.
no, it was them too. They were the big ones. Obviously, other games incorporated as well, but
I mean,
that was
the biggest thing in physics was, I think, Unreal Tournament. But that was only when your character died and his body flung all over the place.
the whole ragdoll thing. No, I'm
Yeah,
talking about environmentally being able to interact with the
I
environment. A
remember
lot
seeing
of
videos where they were talking about that, where the environment. I think it was
yeah,
actually Half-Life 2, hey?
it might be Half-Life 2, whichever one of those two came out first. Look, obviously Valve just invented their engine, and it invented their engine, and from the basis of those two
Yeah, but
engines,
basically, yeah.
physics as we know it exists. And because of that, we have now real world applications such as 3D space, gene manipulation, molecule manipulation.
Mm,
It's gaming has got a major impact on the world as we know it. I watched a documentary quite some time ago. It was called Video Game,
mm.
and it sort of chronicled gaming through time, where it started, where it went to, where it's going, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the idea of Pong, which is obviously now the first video game, was actually developed by two students, I think, at MIT. They were messing around with an oscilloscope,
Yeah.
and that's basically the birth of gaming. And as of 2004, I think it was,
Mm.
gaming industry generates more revenue than all other media combined.
And yet the developers of game companies or game companies complain that they don't make enough money.
Yeah.
For
Well,
example, I think
yeah.
one such example was Tomb Raider. Sold 2 million copies, and it didn't perform according to their expectations.
Yeah.
2
But
million
the thing is,
copies.
the problem with AAA gaming is it exists. AAA games exist. That's the problem with it. Is back in the day,
Mm.
you take a look at the original Command and Conquer,
Yeah.
Westwood Studios. I think there were like 12 guys working there. Blizzard started out as like 6 people. And they made the money, because the overheads weren't very high.
Yeah.
The amount of time spent coding wasn't quite as much. But nowadays, of many people to just get the graphics down, and then that's not even counting the programming. And
Mm.
I mean, just think of the huge crew you need to effectively get an MMO running.
Yeah.
So gaming over time, because it's become such a major industry, has also generated a lot more overhead. So the days of creating a game, your backyard, are technically over.
Mm-hmm.
However, thanks to Steam, indie gamers are actually still getting their stuff out there, and this is a good trend, I think, because there was a while there where, because of the cost of games, publishing studios would only back sure things. And a sure thing is basically the lowest common denominator,
which is AAA games. Yeah.
Which is AAA gaming, which is your Battlefield number X,
your Call of Duties, all that, yeah.
X.
Yeah.
So, basically the same thing with maybe one or two features, updated graphics, and a new coat of paint over, boom, it sells, So, because of that, gaming was in a slump, but thanks to Valve and Steam that support indie gaming and, Kickstarter,
yeah,
the creative ideas are actually still emerging again, and I'm seeing some really interesting games coming out again. The creative slump that gaming was in a couple of years ago seems to be lifting.
Cool, yeah. No, it is, but another interesting aspect on the indie community is that most of those indie developers were gamers, or people our age. They were gamers back then, and now they have the ability to create games. Again, gaming leading to a profession. Now that they have the ability to create games, they create games like the indie titles that harkens back to the games of old.
Yeah. And this is a good thing. It's a good thing. An industry like gaming, a creative industry that lives on the principle of art.
Yeah.
Should never fall into the trap of what is the bottom line. Because as soon as you turn art into industry, you lose essence. And you can argue with me, gaming is not art. It is art. Basically, the definition of art is you put pen to paper, any manner or form. Create something out of nothing. That is art. Be it on a canvas, be it a poem, a story, a movie, a song. Doesn't matter. As long as it's creating something out of nothing. That's art. And gaming is art.
It is. The thing that I'm studying at the moment, also, like, one of the first questions, they were like, what is art? And then it went into a whole something that's aesthetically pleasing. And then you had to go down into the whole what is aesthetically pleasing. Because they were trying to get us to go like, you need to define the things, like to the lowest, like you said, lowest common denominator. And what they wanted us to come to a conclusion as is no one can really explain what is aesthetically pleasing, or the phrase. And that is quite true. No one can.
Because
I find... look at the video I'm doing right now. I love the world in the World of Warcraft. That's why I'm flying through it and talking to you. It's beautiful for me. This is beauty, right? Someone might find the ambience music or the music beautiful in World of Warcraft. So it's difficult to define what is... It's difficult to find what you find aesthetically pleasing, and by that way of logic, it's difficult to define what is art. That's why people still have the... Whoa, those two birds just flew into a rock there. That's why people just still have trouble with defining games as art.
Yeah, but you have to also understand that art isn't just what's aesthetically pleasing. Things that can be quite disturbing is also art. Look at shock art. Designed
yes, some people... designed to gross you out, but that could also fall under some form of pleasing someone aesthetically.
Yeah, I suppose there is a certain... what's the word? A word for that. Catharsis.
Yes.
That's it.
And that is... that's what's so amazing for me. I mean... I'm doing the whole Twitch thing, I'm doing the whole YouTube thing, just because to share stuff with the people, to share my hobby, right? I've had a Skype session earlier with my parents. Now, won't say their ages, but they're of the older generation, right?
The before generation.
They're still younger than your parents probably, but they're older generation, right?
Yeah.
And unless you're turning 40 this year.
No.
Okay, no, then they're
No.
definitely older than your parents. And I'm not turning 40, just saying my older brother is turning 40 this year, or turned 40.
Okay.
But,
I think you win.
okay, so my point being is I told them tonight what I'm doing, like, when I get home every night, right?
Mhm.
And I told them, like, I'm doing Twitch streaming. They like, in Afrikaans, wat se goed? Which basically in English is what, you know that meme with the woman, that old lady saying what, W-A-T,
Yeah.
with 0 teeth, like, what, right? That
Yeah.
was basically their expression if you're an English person. And I'm like, okay, mom and dad, look at this. And I gave them the link to my Twitch channel. Now,
Yeah.
there's a whole complicated history of why I don't normally share my gaming with my parents or anything,
Yeah.
which we will talk about in the next episode with our other friend, hopefully,
Yeah.
is because of the stigma surrounding gaming in South Africa,
Yeah.
right? The stigma that I grew up with gaming in South Africa. And I'm sure a lot of Americans and Europeans and everyone grew up with the same stigma, but it was slightly worse because of the city that I grew up in South Africa. But that's another topic. So I never shared like any of my gaming stuff with my parents. They sat me down, right? With Diablo 3.
Yeah.
With Diablo 3. I got Diablo 2. I bought Diablo 1 and 2. But with Diablo 3, they sat me down. And I mean, I was what? Diablo 3 was 4 or 5 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
They sat me down. They like, son, you know that this game, Diablo, means Satan in Spanish or whatever. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
They like, you know this game might be satanic. I'm like, no, it's not. You know, I had to literally explain to them. I was a man of like 25, 26, trying to
Yeah.
explain to my parents that I'm playing this game.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that's the kind of stigma that I grew up with in South Africa. And so tonight was like, we had such a good Skype conversation. I'm like, yeah, check out my Twitch channel, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, because they can watch past broadcasts and all that, so that's kind of cool. And I told them, this is what I do for fun. And they're like, but how does this work? Do you talk to the people? Do they play with you? Do they? I'm like, yeah. Technically, they play with me. We talk to each other. And I'm going off on a tangent here. What was the original point I was trying to make?
Is the stigma surrounding gaming in South Africa in particular?
Yeah. So, oh, and the sharing of the art form. That's the thing.
Yes.
In South Africa, I think it's still a bit difficult to grasp that whole gaming as an art form. Because of the recent stigma. I mean, I still like, when I'm in South Africa, I still like, when people ask me what I do for fun, I go, I drink. Because I don't want to tell them I play games, because if I tell them I play games, then the conversation would end right there.
Yeah. See, the problem being here in South Africa is we have spent the better part of the last decade or so going through an identity crisis. We don't really know what we are because, you know, before the end of apartheid, you know, you could technically have called South Africa a democracy, but we weren't really. We were more of a nationalist government, which meant that the government had way too much to say about your personal lives, right? And then there comes the end of apartheid, and we put together a constitution that is amazing. It is possibly the best constitution in the world by miles. Affording people incredible civil liberties. I mean, even prisoners can even vote, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, who else in the world can say that? But, you know, that creates a problem because, especially for a generation that was growing up towards the end of it, is they don't know quite where to go with this,
Mm.
because one portion of their life they're being told, no, you can't, no, you're not allowed to do that. And then the next section of their life, they're like, hey, go nuts,
Yeah.
freedom, the beautiful thing, so identity crisis. So, and because of that, you've got a bit of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality, the country, in the one sense, you want to be very conservative about things. Yet at the same time, you want to be super liberal, and gaming represents freedom, liberation, creativity, all the open-minded things.
That
right?
we did not stand for previously.
And
Technically.
because we did not stand for it previously, people are a little bit embarrassed to admit that they are into that,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I
it's
still
a
struggle
process.
to tell people about the whole thing, and I'm still taken aback when they tell me, when I tell them this might sound a bit geeky, but I do this, and then they turn around like, oh yeah, man, we do that too. I'm like, what? You do that now? How does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look, the thing with anything that is new is, because it is new, because it's different, it will immediately be opposed by a large portion of the population.
Yeah.
And then another portion of the population won't be interested because they'll call it a fad, right?
Yes.
Now, for some reason or another, people haven't quite figured out in the past, well, it's close to 40 years now, that gaming isn't a fad, and it is making more money than all other forms of media. It's here to stay,
Yeah.
They don't want to acknowledge that. So, it'll always be a stigma. Well, never say always, but for a long time it'll still be a stigma, but soon, one of these days, it will be more mainstream than not.
The main thing, and we should probably start ending off this semi-podcast Ramblecast. But let's talk a little bit longer. The main thing that I think, right, if we're talking about we are talking about gaming again. This is part of the reason for the Ramblecast existing. We are talking about gaming specifically. At the moment, I'm an ex-South African, so I know the things about South Africa, and I'm like I said, I'm going to try and get you here on every week to get that South African perspective on the things, on the gaming topics that we're going to talk about. But I believe that if South Africa's geeks, or gamers, or online gamers, I'm talking about PC, Xbox online gamers, right?
Yeah.
If they could actually get together, do a petition, or whatever, to just get people in Telkom to notice, oh crap, we need faster speeds.
Yeah.
I mean, if the stigma of gaming in South Africa could be lessened to an extent, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty damn good for the telecommunications thing in South Africa.
I think so too, but unfortunately, and I've been looking into this a little bit, is the problem is a little bit more complex than that. For the most part, Telkom is on board with the advancement of technology, right?
Yes, obviously, yeah, because they want the business.
However, there's two problems that I see. Number one is lack of competition. Competition's a healthy thing. It causes advancement, right? If you are competing, people come out with things. Telkom has a bit of a monopoly, which means that they've got no benchmark to test their progress on. They're not competing against anybody, which is not a good thing. Second of all, the heavy hand of government is too up in their business.
Yeah.
And that is what is slowing us down compared to the rest of the world.
I mean, I've seen a report on South Africa. They've been planning to do local loop unbundling. That means getting rid of the copper wires between the house and your local exchange to make internet go faster, essentially, right? To make the internet go faster.
Yeah.
They've been planning that for about 10 years now. They said they were going to start implementing local loop unbundling back in 2004. I'm not entirely sure of my facts, but I think it's about 2004, maybe 2006.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they haven't done that yet. This is 2015.
Bureaucracy. At any point where the government gets involved, you're gonna have red tape. You're gonna have unnecessary bureaucracy. And implemented plans are going to take forever. I mean, let's take a look at, it's a similar situation, but not quite. Did you know that there's oil in South Africa?
In the Kalahari?
No, I'm talking about offshore.
Really? Oh yes, they are. They are. My cousin used to work for a company where he had to... Wait, did he? He had to inspect oil rigs?
Yes. Well, you see, the thing is, previously it was thought that there was no oil here, right?
Yeah.
So we had to always import our oil. However, 30 years ago, and I kid you not, I heard this at on an offshore survival course that I was doing. They discovered oil off of Richards Bay 30 years ago, and the government's just been sitting on that, doing nothing. They've only just started the explorative drilling now, like this year.
Now that they need the money.
and they knew about it 30 years ago. So, you know, government has a way of making things take long.
But it will be, as with everything in South Africa, it will be blamed on apartheid, unfortunately.
Jan van Riebeeck.
Or Jan van Riebeeck.
Yeah.
There's another thing, though, that I have to tell you, and I don't know if this is like an urban legend, but I spoke to someone in... Oh, crap, I'm at the Dark Portal? No, I'm not landing here. I spoke to someone who had... Either his father was a lecturer at the university, where the students actually... phoned a guy from Telkom, like one of the bigwigs from Telkom, just before DSL started getting like really implemented strongly in South Africa.
Yeah.
And they told him, we are going to send you an email, right? We are going to send you an email with a couple of photos and like a letter. Like words, like a letter in an email, right? Stating our intents and purposes and how this will work and everything. And they said, we're going to send you an email and we will prove. We're going to send you an email and we will send you a letter via carrier pigeon.
Yes.
And the letter, and they told him, we can guarantee you that the letter will arrive before you can actually read your email.
Yeah.
And they did it. It wasn't a huge distance, though, I think.
Yeah.
It was like within the same confinements of the city, a same city or something, same boundaries of the city.
Yes, the pigeon arrived before the emails were finished downloading.
Yeah, the pigeon arrived before the emails were finished downloading. And I think one of the stipulations was they said they're going to send the email, or they're going to send the pigeon out the moment the email has been sent on their side.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not as if they said, okay, we're going to send a huge email and then send this pigeon, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, and this is true, you can confirm this?
I've heard it, yes. I have heard that.
Crazy, man.
And the pigeon won.
And the pigeon won.
Yeah.
The pigeon freaking won. Wow.
But of course, you know, just to play devil's advocate for a second there is that sort of test can be heavily skewed in the favor of the pigeon, you know. I mean, let's take a look at how big flash drives get these days. I think you get like 100 gig flash drive nowadays.
Okay, yes.
And, you fill that up with like a HD series, or a couple of HD series,
Yeah.
or I don't know what else takes up a lot of space. But anyway, let's go for that, right? 100 gigs worth of data, you tie it to a pigeon's foot, and say deliver this to the guy next door, and then you upload your 100 gigs to a cloud storage and tell him to download it. It can be.
It can be skewed in favor of the pigeon.
Pigeon, yeah.
But this was apparently from a university, hostel, university, what do you call it? Dormitory.
Yeah. Res.
Dormitory for the Americans, or res, to like the Telcom CEO's office in the same city.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's how we got DSL.
The point was proven.
Yeah,
that's all that's important.
The point was proven. But now the thing is, and this is the thing that pisses me off the most, right? Mm-hmm. South Africa focuses on download rates only.
Yeah.
They will sit there and go, you can download at 20 megs a second with this connection and upload at 2. Sorry. The 20 megs a second is an upload at 1.25.
No, it's the strangest thing. I mean, I did just for the sake of interest, a bandwidth test the other day.
Yeah.
And would you believe that my download speed was 20% overrated?
Yeah.
It was downloading at 20% faster than my line is supposed to be. Yet it downloaded at maybe like a quarter of the line speed.
It uploaded, yeah.
A quarter of the line speed, yeah.
Yeah, that's about a quarter of the line speed. I'm sitting here, it's like... Now, what South Africa doesn't understand, Telkom doesn't understand is... Yes, you can have amazing download speeds, right? Yes, you can have all this, but... If your upload can't keep up with your download will suffer.
Yeah.
Because you have to send packets both ways. Unless I got my whole computer terminology thing wrong.
No, that's right. I mean, if you've got two-way communication, you need equal speed two-way communication. Your download speed is going to be limited by your upload speed.
Yeah.
If you are doing live send and receive data. Downloading a thing from a website and saving it on your computer is completely different to what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I am limited by my upload speed. My download speed means nothing.
Mm.
And if you've got games, modern day games, MMOs, they actually very efficient at their sending and receiving of packets, but even with a super fast internet connection like mine, okay, I use the word super fast in terms of
South Africans super fast.
Yes. Let's keep it relative, shall we?
Yeah. We're talking about a 4 meg connection.
4 meg connection, which is super fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can download things pretty damn quickly, but I would not be able to have more than, let's say, 3 people playing the same MMO at the same time.
On the same line, yeah.
On the same line.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. There was, because of Telkom's new, there was an ad, I don't know if you can remember it. There was an ad where the guy was busy watching DSTV, and he was busy watching, a recorded, a PVR recorded thing. And his friend says, oh, in the end, this and this and this happens. And the guy looks at him and is like, no, what? And the friend is like, yeah, I downloaded that movie last night. It's quite cool. I downloaded it. He's like, okay, but don't tell me anything. And the friend looks at him and is like, look, I just downloaded another movie. I'm like, wow. What speed in South Africa is that quick? Because he winked. And he said, I just downloaded another movie. I'm like, no. You're talking about South Africa here.
Yeah.
When you stream stuff, And this is I'm back in South Africa. I was on a 4 meg line, right?
Mm.
I would go to YouTube, put it on 360, a 10-minute, 20-minute video. Let's say Total Biscuit averages about 20-minute videos, right?
Mm.
I would put it at 360. I'll go make myself a cup of coffee, or I'll go brush my teeth, or I'll go play with my dog for 10 minutes. Come back and I'll be able to watch the video, because then it would have buffered completely.
Well, luckily, you know.
It would have buffered to a point where I can watch it without it stopping somewhere in the middle, at least.
Well, to our defense, is I don't have to worry about buffering anymore. I can now watch HD videos on YouTube.
Really?
Without having to buffer, yeah. But I pay extra for that, as I've got what is called a premium line, which means it's not shaped in any manner or form, which means things aren't prioritized anymore. I mean, they love to do that shape thing where, yeah, sure, you get 4 meg line, but it's only 4 meg if you are doing web browsing and downloading of emails and stuff, and everything else gets a down category. You know, whereas movies and stuff from YouTube gets like the worst category. Luckily, I don't have that type of line. I've got a completely unshaped line, which is, you know,
awesome.
Everything's fine. So that's good, but I still suffer when it comes to streaming. It's just there's not enough there. When I try to watch a live stream,
I mean, yeah, your
doesn't
fiance
work.
tried to watch one, and I think you did also try to watch mine.
Yeah, and it
just didn't work. And I'm streaming at, I think, 2000 kbytes a second.
Yeah.
Right? That's my upload speed. So you only have to download 2 megs a second. Technically, if you want to watch my live stream.
But then again, 2 meg a second is
not what you can do.
Let's see, what is
2000 kilobits per second, or 20,000 bits per second. 2000 bits per second.
Yeah. Now, you see, there's again where the upload and download thing comes into play. If a live stream is a bi-directional thing, so my download speed, even though it is technically twice that fast, my upload speed is half that speed.
Yeah, you need to, because what happens with the Twitch stream is like, essentially, and again, I could be wrong, is essentially you need to, on your end, you say, hello stream, I'm at 2 minutes 30 seconds. And the stream goes, oh wow, we're at 4 minutes 30 seconds. Oh, we're at 2 minutes 35 seconds. Let's send you the data. And you get that 5 seconds worth of data, and remember, that 5 seconds is 10,000 bytes or bits. In that 5 seconds, you need to be able to download and upload. You need to be able to communicate, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And
2 ways with it.
2 ways. And I think at least for that to work, for people in South Africa to enjoy Twitch streams, they would have to at least have the upload be half of the download, not like a third or a quarter of the download.
It's also the reason why Netflix hasn't quite taken off here yet.
There's a South African version of it, though.
Yeah. Look, the thing is, you can get Netflix here if you want. You just need an IP mask, and you have to cover your tracks and all, because blah blah blah, all of that. It can be done.
Yeah.
The point is, it doesn't quite work, because even at a 4 meg line, you can't watch the things in HD because it's streaming. It's not downloading.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're gonna have to go VDSL or better, and
For the it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. We started off this podcast talking about this Ramblecast, talking about arts and games and stuff, and we ended up talking about speeds in South Africa, which I hope will not happen in the future. We're gonna call this here because we need to go record some Terraria. I believe we.
Floating eyes.
Let's get killed by floating eyes. I got no messages. Maybe we should just send a message to the guy and tell him we're ready. But yeah. Thank you
Cool.
everybody for watching. Thank you, Slabwrangle, for joining me. Always been good having you here. Hopefully, in the near future, you can get a camera.
Hopefully, we'll see.
And it won't kill your internet connection.
Yeah, that's the problem there.
That is the problem. Well, the thing is, you just need your webcam and an internet connection, and you can minimize Skype. And you don't have to see that, and you can just talk.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm here in North Pass Tower, wherever the hell that is. And thank you guys for joining us. Again, Slabwrangle, thank you. And we're gonna see when we're gonna do this again. This will be uploaded to YouTube within the next day or two.
Yeah, call it the pilot.
Yeah, Ramblecast pilot. And yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. And this is just an excuse for me to fly around in World of Warcraft, talk to my friends, and about geeky stuff, and talk with regular or local celebrities in the gaming scene here. Hopefully I can get someone really popular sometime.
Yeah. Somebody that they'll actually want to watch.
Yes. But that's enough rambling from the both of us. Ha 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 ha.
Yes.
Do you see what I went that way. Yes. Check me out on Twitter at Zaffageek without the underscore, and on YouTube also Zaffageek without the underscore. And if you're checking this on Twitch right now, you know my Twitch website, my Twitch channel thing. Wow, I'm being professional, guys. Look at me. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, you should have a beardly good one.
Cheers, bye.